episode 2 of R.L.D.S, everybody! And of course, we're going to go after the Yugioh pieces again. But first, of course, we had to get a recap. I didn't know I was watching episode 7 of frickin' Vrains. Or rather, every episode 7. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, it's just a recap of what happened in the previous episode, which is fine. Probably just to help establish what the universe, considering some people were confused, including myself in the timeline. But I got clarification on it now. Well, as I stated in the actual episode itself, of course, this timeline goes in between the time where Tomas won some tournament and then took a break from the game. He says he retired, but Thomas basically explains how Thomas's version of taking a breather from the game is basically retirement, considering the guy does it so very often. I think he retired like 4 whole times the entirety of the movie series. So yeah. Anyway, that's where the timeline is. It's an interquill between those two, times. So yeah. So after this little RLDS series is over, most likely we'll be going into where Thomas duels Bensei again, and then this movie series kicks off. So, that's an interesting little tie-in. Most people go in the beginning or in the end, but no one usually goes around in the middle. I mean, we're kind of like in the middle of the beginning, but you guys know what I mean. That does give an excuse for the Shadow Riders to exist, though, so, they got around that little loophole. Smart thinking, guys. Gonna give you that one. Anyway, so what happens in this one is Augustus and of course, Lehel. It's Lehel. I know how to pronounce it. Augustus Agaton. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I'm having trouble remembering Augustus Agaton. Fuck me. I can't even pronounce it, guy. It was bad if I couldn't pronounce Lehel's name. Now I can't even pronounce Agaton's. God damn it. Do I need to write this down or something? I probably do. I'm going to have to write this one down. Ugh. I'll remember the next one. Why is it so hard for me to remember Agaton? I don't know why. Oh, well. Anyway, Agaton and Lehel get new dual discs from Beze because they need him. Because Beze wanted to help, I guess. There's no real reason besides he's helped. Of course, well, Beze is trying, part of the whole organization, to take out the Shadow Riders, and Lehel and Agaton are trying to take out the Shadow Riders. So, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Here's a dual disc. Stop using the fucking Lego ones, you lazy fucks. No, I'm kidding. They get to use the actual dual discs correctly, and then they go fight 2 random schmucks who have both pieces of Exodia. Well, they each have a piece of Exodia, so they gotta go duel them separately, in which case Lehel needs to win more than Agaton. I know Agaton is the protagonist, so he has more on the line, but Lehel has had no wins so far in this series. Yes, he got to the championship of a tournament, but we didn't see that now, did we? So technically, he has 0 wins. Yeah, one thing the movie series episode 1 did right is, despite the fact that everyone except for Thomas end up eating 1 loss, they usually end up picking up a win as well. So, like, Bensei lost to Thomas, but then he beat Beze. Beze lost to Bensei, but then he beat some Shadow Rider. And Tomas just beat everyone because he's Tomas. So, everyone picked up one, well, all the good guys picked up 1 win, at the very least. Whereas in RLDS, Lehel loses all the time. Thomas beats Lehel, okay, that's fair. And then since Agaton's the main character, Lehel must eat another loss. Just like, what? Like, this isn't really building up Lehel at all. But then he wins in this episode, so it all evens out, It does make sense. It's one of those things, but it's one of those things where you're looking at just like, wow, you're just eating pins left and right, And I keep saying pins, of course, that just means losses. I just have wrestling on the brain. Anyway, so yeah, they beat the 2 masked guys. It's kind of in which case we learned that apparently Agaton has like a 10-card deck or something like that, considering, of course, he draws for his opening hand, and the guy plays Worm once, and then there's like maybe 6 of Agaton's turns go by, and all of a sudden he's got 1 card left in his deck. It's like, what? What happened? What? I could buy you, if this was a continuous thing, I could buy you, like, milling through the deck or something like that, and if you're wondering why I'm doing this, I'm just pretending I'm looking in my deck of a duel. It's just like, where did all the cards go? He used 1 worm, and all of a sudden you're fucked. Like, I guess it's like Duel Links where they run 20 cards, and I'm just like, how? Like, what? There's a minimum of 40 cards. This isn't like, I know everyone knows there's a maximum of 60, but that doesn't mean, and everyone runs 40 cards. They're not running 40 cards because they choose to run 40 cards, because that's the minimum. If people could run fucking 5, if anybody could run anybody as they want, they would. Exotic players would just be running 5 cards all the time. Unless they had to go second, in which case they might run a 6 card just in case they did go second. It'd probably just be ran like, I don't know, Upstart Goblin or something. Like, I don't know. It's one of those weird things, you know? Just one of those, like, what? Where'd your deck go, dude? This isn't like you were dueling Tobias or the guy who had Morphing Jar and Chaos Jar. It's just like, where did your deck go? Like, it's just more, like, it's just more bullshit than Jane versus the Miller guy who just had all these bullshit cards that made him keep decking out. Like, it's just... It's not bad, just one of those things where it's like, it wasn't established that these decks are 20 cards or something like that. So when you see them run out of cards, it's like, what? You know how it is. If it's going to get established from now on, it's 20 cards. That's a problem with the series of where there's not a lot of establishment. Like, there's establishment of characters and motivations and all that stuff, and that's all well and good. But there's also not a lot of establishment on other things, like, we only have 20 cards in our deck. Like, maybe they did say it and I just glossed over it or something like that. That's probably what happened. But it's one of those things you look at and just like, what? You guys know how I am with this stuff. Lehel gets to pick up a win, which is always good. Of course, he had twin, and he got his luck back considering he got to use Cup of Ace and get the heads effect, so he got to draw 2 cards. And he used Twin Barrel Dragon to finally pop a card, which means that now, due to this, I now imagine Lehel will now have the Sawatari/Silvio luck of the rest of the series, where he just loses 24/7, considering he used up all of his good luck in one duel. Like, I want to see how this comes back to bite him in the end. Like, he just gets all this good luck. Like, how is this going to come back to bite him? Or is he going to be like Joey Wheeler, who just never gets the negative effects? Like, he failed Time in Wizard once in the entire series of Yu-Gi-Oh! He failed it one time against Bones, of all people. I just wanted to... It's just funny to me. Like, I want to see him, like, the next episode, every time he takes a step, he trips, or something like that. That would be amazing. Anyway, they both win their duel and get both pieces of Exodia, in which case we learn that despite it being a normal monster, it has 4 stars and has some weird writing on it, so which means you're not getting the 5 pieces of Exodia, my friend. You are getting fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I thought these cards looked weird. They're fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I knew it was weird I knew it was weird that, like, Blue Eyes was a fire-type monster. What the fuck? What the hell is going on? Ay. It's amazing. I don't know, maybe where he lives in Hungary, they don't actually print Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They just only have the fake card. But just one of those things, just like, what? I thought that was weird, but I wrote that off as like, okay, maybe that's just how Hungary or Hungary or however you pronounce it is. I just assumed that was just how they do things. So I'm just like, okay, that's weird, but I can get behind it. Never in my mind I think fake cards until I saw freaking in the piece of Exodia with 4 stars. Just like, no, that is just all the red flags went off in my mind at once. So yeah, because not even the head of Exodia is 4 stars. I think that thing's like 3 stars and like that. If it is 4 stars, fine. But I know for a fact that the normal monster pieces are all 1 star, so you can't get me on that one. So that one kind of took me out of it because it's just like, what? I don't know. Of course they both get a piece of Exodia. Of course they get the Exodia pieces, and then they can go off and save the day some more. And go on episode 3. So, 3 pieces down, 2 to go, and then we probably fight Nemesis in the season, in the season in between. In the season finale. There, I can speak English good. They're the ones who speak Hungarian, and I think they can speak English better than me. Oy. So after that, in the next episode, we will, of course, get Thomas just giving Lehel a Blue Eyes, like, here, I run 4. What? It's just like when, I want to see Thomas be a massive dick about it and just do it like the Kai way, like, I got your grandpa's Blue Eyes White Dragon. Rip. Fuck you, you can't have it. Here's an actual Blue Eyes. No more fake cards from you, mister. Ay. Episode 2 was still good overall. Like, I did enjoy watching over time. Just there were some parts of it that kind of took me out of it. It was mainly when... Oh, God, I'm going to look up the name real quick. Agaton. I have the little window open in the background of episode 2, so it has the life point counter out so I could remember. Agaton had like a 20-card deck. That was the main thing that took me out of it. I didn't mind anything else with Lehel's duel. That wasn't bad or any of that stuff. It just when Agaton all of a sudden just had 20 cards that just like that took me out of it. But... it was still a good episode, so, you know, thumbs up on that one. There were parts where they were just like, what? It's such eye-openers. It wasn't bad despite that, or mediocre, but I'd still say it's a good thing overall. So, yeah, that's it for R.L.D.S. episode 2. On episode 3, everyone. Bye.